Don't just try to tell me you love me. Can't keep it real if you really don't trust me. Come with a real, you here been a front seat. Get my meals, I'm gunning for the money. Money in the bank. Come with a dank. Skrilling a tank. Rolling with the gang. You sitting out on the sideline tripping. I go to the hole with the rock like Pippin. I'm okay.
Oh, what up, though, and welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights live on WoodwardSports.com. I am Easy. I got young Chris in the building. I got my man Chase, who doesn't use X. We'll do X out there. I'm at eSpeakeasy Sports, at Platy Pods. Chase, what is your Twitter?
It's just my name, like first and last.
Chase
government, yeah.
I mean, that works, man.
Yeah, it's just the government.
Yeah, I get on Twitter, man. I feel like Twitter is the number one source of news for me personally. And I feel like I'm fairly, pretty quick to it at times.
I like the gram a little bit more. I'm more of a guy. I like scrolling on IG, getting caught in the reels and stuff. Yeah, it's just.
Do you find yourself late to news, or you don't even care?
Like what kind of news? Like it depends on what it is.
All right, Rob Saleh getting fired.
Oh, I mean, I've been calling for that all off season, so that wasn't news to me.
Yeah, but just breaking news, like a Shefty tweet, but it's a Shefty tweet, not a Shefty IG post.
Yeah, no, I just mean, I'm not too worried about it. I know it's gonna get to me within 15 minutes of it happening. So, when it gets to me, it gets to me. Whether I know at 2 or whether I know at 2:15, how much of a difference is it really gonna make in my day?
That's fair. That is fair. I was one of the first because of Twitter, because of notifications for these big name guys. I don't know. I'm talking shit. I don't know if I was really one of the first, but Reese Olson on the mound today. How you boys feeling about that?
Oh, I'm pretty good, man. I mean, I was hoping to see him get some action again today. He pitched well in his little relief effort on Saturday.
Yeah.
Aside from that hanging slider, but I mean, who else are we gonna give the ball to? I think that's someone who's performed well earlier in the season. We couldn't give him the run support. Now we've got some new bats in this lineup, and hopefully we'll close it out, take it home.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you can't really trip at all too, because you don't know. Not even that anybody's tripping anyway, but you don't even know how long he's gonna be in there. We don't know when he's even going to play. He may be the very next inning. That's the pitching chaos AJ has created here with the Detroit Tigers, the gritty Tigers, as they're making a run to possibly the World Series.
I think they are. I really think it's happening. It seems so much like destiny, and as somebody that's just getting into it, you don't have to understand baseball to understand destiny, to understand feelings. Sometimes you know when something's right. You know when something's happening, and that's what I feel like with this Tigers team, because it is not conventional how they got here, obviously, but also how they're winning games. Their pitching rotations and their strategies and everything that they're doing is just different, and it's unconventional, and that's what's working for them. They know exactly who they are. They're a team that reminds me a lot of that 2004 Pistons team, where you know your identity, you know what your strengths are, you know what your weaknesses are, and you're playing to those strengths and exposing your opponent's weaknesses. So I love it, man. I love it. I'm excited.
The rest of tonight's lineup is made of Meadows, Vierling, Green, Keith, Torkelson, McKinstry back, and this one. He actually got a hit off of Bieber last time too, or BB, how they say his name. Sweeney, Rogers. Then obviously you got the DH, Jesus was Carpenter himself, Kerry Bonds out there as well. Excited for that one. Red Wings playing tonight too. To be honest with you, it's going underneath the radar, and I get it. Tigers, the gritty Tigers, the talk of the town. I'm excited to watch the Red Wings tonight.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's a team that they gotta make. I mean, I don't want to say they gotta make the playoffs, because I respect my guy Sean dearly, and he says he wouldn't be surprised at the end of this year and if Stevie Y remained. But the Red Wings were just there last year. You grabbed a few more veteran pieces. I mean, how long do we really have to wait for this to cook up at this point? A lot of the guys that Stevie Y has been drafting has been called up. They've produced for you. How long until I'm allowed to be mad? And I haven't. I've been one of the patient ones, but this year's got to be the year.
Sean's right that if we miss the playoffs, we can't be upset by that, but we still need to be patient. The only two dudes who have been truly impactful at the NHL level that Stevie Y has drafted have been Moritz Seider and Lucas Raymond. We're still waiting on and hoping for. Yeah, he's had a taste, but we're hoping to see Casper get some significant action this year. Edvinsson is supposed to be on this roster the whole season.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be the first year we're really starting to see. I mean, Albert Johansson is going to be playing some significant minutes.
That's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, I think there's some promise, and we're really starting to see those guys get their toes in the water. We're going to see them, wet the whistle a little bit, get some playing action, but I don't think we need to be pushing all of our chips in just yet. We still need to be a little bit patient because these guys are just young. Imagine like how we felt with the Tigers once they kind of started getting rolling, but the playoffs still looked like it was a little bit too far out of reach. We were still like optimistic, and if we didn't get in, we weren't going to be upset about it because we understand what we have with these young guys. We need to keep that same mentality with the Red Wings, whether we get in the playoffs or not. Obviously, we want to. I expect us to, but if they don't, we still have a lot of really good pieces to be looking forward to.
Yeah. Playoffs are the expectations, so with that being the expectation, it is fair for a disappointment, but let's just be 100% real. And I can't name to you a GM of any Detroit sports team that has come within the last few decades to Detroit with the resume and the cachet that Yzerman has, removing the ties to the Red Wings, just looking at the dynasty that he built in Tampa. Like, that is something that will give you so much grace, so much benefit of the doubt. I am not ready to call into question Steve Yzerman, no matter what happens this season, when that team that he built and left years ago is still pretty damn good. Like, I don't think we've had something like that in Detroit. We've had a general manager of that cachet. There's very few general managers that have built a dynasty like that and moved. And when you get one of those guys, you give them carte blanche. You give them complete and utter freedom. So it is fair to be disappointed in the Wings if they don't reach the expectation, which is playoffs, and is a fair expectation when you look at the roster. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to be one calling for Stevie Y's job. Not when he has that resume. Who the hell would I be to call for his job with that resume?
Yeah, I'm not necessarily calling for the job, but I'm going to be pissed. Like, I am in the, I guess, minority in the situation where I would be upset if they're not in the playoffs just because how close they were last year. And then now your guys are going to be here. Edvinsson, Johansson, Johnny Burgers. Like, let's see these guys pan out. I mean, let's see what they are on the ice. I've seen guys hit on the rookie season do work. It happens. It happened for, I guess you can't really count Raymond's rookie year like that, but Mo was phenomenal his rookie year.
Yeah, I mean, the NHL, it's very difficult. It's hard to figure out. Like, it takes guys some time. There's a lot of different, like, aspects to the game, whether it be, on the ice or just, like, in your own head. Like, hockey is a very tough sport. And, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, Easy. I don't think we should be getting all up in arms about it, though. I think it's okay to be disappointed in not making the playoffs, but I think some people are going to get a little too riled up and a little too extreme, like in the way that Sam likes to overreact sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not calling for his job by any means. But I will have questions this year. If obviously there's context to to the season, if there's injuries or whatever may take place, because obviously that stuff happens throughout a season. I'm reasonable for sure, but reasonable is also, I feel like, expecting the playoffs this year. For me, just being there last year. But we'll see. Chat, interested to hear you guys' comments. Obviously, the Tigers, we'll talk about Tigers. Detroit Lions, how crazy. That is the lead every single day. Every single. We have yet to make a single comment about the Detroit Lions in today's show.
Yeah.
Wild. I'm just not used to that world.
No, it's in the midst of a Super Bowl chase. The Lions Super Bowl. Like, think about those three words together, and then that not being the thing we talk about every single waking second of Detroit sports. But it's a beautiful thing, man. That's why I have so much, unfair optimism for the Pistons, because it just feels like the city of Detroit is going through something with all of their sports franchises, and it just feels like all of them are kind of on a somewhat similar trajectory. And the Tigers right now, man, look. When you're doing what the Tigers did, like, there is no reason you shouldn't be talking about the Tigers early. And when the Wings are the Wings and the historic franchise they are, you just, sometimes you get lost in the sauce. And, it's a great problem to have, because how many cities could say that they're really focused on multiple sports teams, that they're really invested in multiple sports teams? How many? LA doesn't count. They have like 25 sports teams. They don't count. Take them out of there. But look at cities that have only 4 professional sports teams. How many of them can talk about them the way Detroit is talked about?
I mean, how many cities out there have Woodward Sports?
Right,
You know what I'm saying? No, like seriously, a network outside of broadcast radio that belongs to another 3-letter network that owns them. They're just like the umbrella company over them. Just being there for the fuck of it and having broadcasting rights to the teams. How many of the teams how many cities have teams with strong enough followings to carry this? It's really just Detroit. And it's a point. Like I talk to guys within multiple industries all the time, trying to get them on the show as guests. For me, to Kimes, Coach JB, Trevor Sikkema. I mean, that's obviously I'm more NFL guy, so that's the NFL crowd. But NBA as well, though, too. Like when they come on, guys from other cities, they're like, "Wow, this is crazy!" Like I've never seen anything like this. And that's what we told you guys the other day. Detroit has the best sports fans, hands down.
Yeah.
I mean, Athletic already backtracking mid-game on the comments they made about game day atmospheres and the MLB. Had the Comerica Park 8. That was crazy. I understand it's been 10 years, but 8, like you're just not familiar with Detroit at that point. Did you not witness what happened on the draft? Like, that's insane.
Having Kansas City ranked ahead of Detroit was insane.
Yeah,
insane. That's the middle of nowhere. Like, there's nothing going on in the middle of the country, like where Kansas City is at. And
look, if Detroit can handle the up and down, bipolar ass weather that we deal with every fucking day, then we could deal with the ups and downs of a sports team. Like, I really believe that it's that weather really kind of plays a factor. You look at the best cities and the fan bases, like we give a lot of shit to Philly, but they're always credited as a good fan base. What do they got? They got fucking brutal weather. This Detroit bipolar ass weather, ups and downs. That's why we're riding with the Lions through thick and thin. We're riding through the Pistons despite them being an embarrassment for 5 years. Like, we're rocking with these teams because you know what? They're tied to the city, man. They're tied to it. Did you see what Monty said on Kay Adams' show? That was really dope.
No.
He said that he wants to remove his ego and he's doing it for the city. It's not for him. He doesn't care about 1,000-yard season. He cares about what winning a Super Bowl does for the city of Detroit. And that's what it is. You got that just direct tie that not many cities in the world have. And that's why it's awesome to have a Woodward Sports that we're grateful for that, man. But I'm excited, man. Tigers playoffs, Red Wings start, Pistons around the corner, Lions chasing the Super Bowl. What a time to be alive.
Amen, man. I think the Lions alone is like what helps you there. I mean, just hammer that point home. Like, it's haven't been anything for a very, very, very long time. And the fact that we have as many diehard fans as we do. That's why I get their ugly franchise, their ugly jerseys, ugly everything, to be quite honest with you. But the Browns, I've always kind of had a little bit of love for them when they had those big spots. Always. Except for when we both sucked because I wanted to be better first. But, like, I understood it. I appreciate that. You're shaking your head. No respect for the Brown fans.
Not at all.
Why?
The Browns, Jimmy Haslam is a horrible owner. The fact that they gave Deshaun Watson all of that guaranteed money so he could go settle out of court and all those civil suits that he has.
But who saw him losing his superpowers the way he
matter.
did?
He didn't deserve
That's
to be
insane.
playing in the NFL anymore. Like, they essentially just said what he did was okay. Jimmy Haslam and the Browns organization.
Whoa,
They're giving him that money.
Hold on.
Giving him that money?
Yeah.
Literally, what happened? They gave him all that guaranteed
I think giving
money.
that money was crazy, for
He
sure.
was dealing with an insane amount of civil suits out of court.
Correct.
How many of those do you hear about now? You don't. You know why? Because they got settled out of court with non-disclosure agreements.
Absolutely.
That he paid for out of that fully guaranteed money.
My thing, though, is like if – and this is a whole nother conversation. I don't even know if I want to get into that one. But, like, brother, if he is 22, 24, I mean, and climbing, he would have been in jail.
He was old. Yeah, no, like it – whatever –
Look
whatever, like, the whole escape
I'm
of it,
saying?
yeah, like,
he would have been in jail.
It was gross. It's disgusting. I mean, we all have mothers. We all came from a woman. I have a sister. In no way, shape, or form should that ever have been allowed in the NFL.
That's fair.
What if he didn't do it?
There's not a what if he didn't at that point. Like,
He'd be in prison.
There's a difference between, like,
hold on, real quick though. Listen.
There's a difference between the criminal justice system and what can be proven in the court of law and the civil court. Very different things.
Well, yeah, because he would be in prison. Like, look at Bill Cosby. He committed those crimes in the 70s.
Is he in prison right now, Easy?
No, he got out, but he was in prison. They put him in prison. P. Diddy right now, on his way to prison. These are very rich and powerful people. I don't think Deshaun Watson, they're just like, no, that's what I'm saying. It's touchy, but like, there's no way in hell there's 24 cases and not a single one got caught or picked up like criminally. Especially if you're doing like shit like that. That's wild boy shit. Yeah. But
Look,
Who's to say?
I'm not a criminal investigator. I'm not involved in law enforcement. But I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire, and I think that's just something that the NFL, like Ray Rice, never got another chance in the NFL, and Janae Palmer, now Janae Rice, his wife, spoke out. They both did several circuits talking about and raising awareness about domestic violence. Ray Rice never got another chance in the NFL. Meanwhile, Greg Hardy got another chance in the NFL.
Well, the difference with that one,
I mean,
smoking gun. You're on camera.
The precedent of the NFL, like there simply is none.
Yeah,
and it's just
I agree.
It's insane. And
he was a sacrificial lamb for sure.
Yeah, there's
there's guys right now
there should
with
be
DVs
at the end
in
of the day, like there should be a line, and like what Deshaun Watson is accused of in the scope of it, like that should be the line.
I see. With me though, I can't go there just because of, again, if nothing's coming up criminally in that many cases, I know what world this is. We've seen these people also accused.
Agreed. I mean, there's the way things ought to be, and there's the way things are. That's how life goes.
No, for sure. We do got to go to break, though. Chris, what bills are we paying?
Divorce.
Guys, if you're dealing with any type of family law issue, child custody, visitation, whatever it may be, I did not mean to fit your name in there, Chase. That was weird. Scan the QR code or call 248-971-0476. It's Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law, right here in Birmingham, Michigan. Tell them the heavyweights sent you. They got your back. They'll pay your first-time filing fee. It's KDK Law. They got your back.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and WoodwardSports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only
All right, Easy, coming back to Dispo.
Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go!
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts Woodward Sports. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Dispo Dispensary is not only your local campus plug, but also can save you $10 of any purchase of $25 or more. Just scan the QR code to my right, bring in a Dispo location that got your back. Find one near you by visiting DispoShops.com. Shout out to the chat. Keep me on my keep me on my Dispo thing. Detroit Lions. I want to talk Lions, but it's not the thing to do right now. I mean, but we got to fit it in. There is some breaking news today. Not so much breaking. You guys tell me how you assess the situation. But Kirby Joseph was limited today with a hamstring injury in practice. Me, personally, and maybe it's a too much of a strong initial reaction, I hate hamstring injuries aren't one to play with. If you pay attention, the thing that falls up that makes me feel a little bit more at ease is the fact that he still remained limited in practice. But I got to find out when it happened. Did it happen yesterday? Did it happen today? When was he limited? Did he play partially? That's where I'm concerned, because a hamstring injury in the NFL, when it does happen, you're out at least 2 weeks. And for me personally, this matchup, I hate the Cowboys. I think it's well documented if you ever watched this show before. I hate the Dallas Cowboys. If you don't know, now you know. On top of me hating the Cowboys, the entire country hates the Cowboys, and all Detroit Lions fans hate the Cowboys after last year. I think the only way they have a snowball's chance in hell of winning that game on Sunday is if they're able to just do ungodly things with CeeDee Lamb. And I just don't think that's capable or be able to be consistent without at least a couple turnovers because of that man, Kirby Joseph. So a hamstring injury to Kirby Joseph this week. Don't sit right with your boy. I hate it, Chase. Absolutely hate it.
Oh, I get it. I mean, CD Lamb had quite a game against us last year, but we also have a lot better players in our secondary with Carlton Davis and Terrion Arnold, and hopefully we'll have Brian Branch back this game too. But I mean, those two corners right there are hands and feet above what we had last year with Cam Sutton and the Kendall Vildor, the just kind of the wax putty we try to cover into the cracks of our pass defense. So obviously, yeah, I mean, I don't think I have like the same like rage towards the Cowboys as you seem to, Easy. But I mean, I definitely don't like them, and I definitely want to win this game. I expect us to, and I think the Cowboys are a little bit more fraudulent. Like I think last year was a bit of a surprise. I thought they'd be a little like they'd fall off the cliff that we've seen more so this year. Like I was kind of expecting that last season.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't like the most shocking thing in the world. I'm just kind of happy. I think Washington being better than them is pretty surprising. But
that is very surprising. Yeah, the Cowboys being that should be shocking to anybody with a brain. If you paid attention to like the entire situation going on last year when they won those games, they were against cupcake teams. It was a Michigan schedule of NFL schedules. They only beat the Eagles, which in your division you'll catch one. It'll happen. It'll fall in your lap just because it happened with us when we were terrible as the Detroit Lions. You're gonna catch those. The one against us though, that was also gifted to you by the referees. Not a single game, I believe they won against a team above 500 outside the Eagles and us.
Their roster is just uninspiring. I mean, you have the running back room is Rico Dowdle, Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott were both in the inaugural college football playoff way back in 2015. I mean, it just goes to show you how long like these guys have been in the league. Ezekiel Elliott got, I think, drafted after that playoff, and then Dalvin Cook played, I think, 2 more years in college. He's a true freshman, but these guys they're cooked, and there's just no. I don't see how you can look at that team and have any expectations or hope of winning.
And it's crazy too because I've done a couple of radio spots this week, and a couple podcasts too. Shout out to my guy Chef, but like they're asking me, concerns. Like, what concerns you about these Cowboys? And it's crazy. And I don't know if it's a bias because I admittedly told you guys I hate them, but I'm with you, Chase. I don't see it. I will say this. For the first time during against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I saw, I guess, a little bit of a threat. Maybe a little. Rico Dotto finally got to run the football. I think he kind of found his identity behind that offensive line a little bit. And you're also looking across from him was the Pittsburgh Steelers defense that has been phenomenal all season. Granted, they played a couple, Garbo teams as well, and still early in the season. I respected that. And I respected Dak's ability to adapt in that game, too. They sold out. They put Mika Fitzpatrick back there, so he couldn't go deep with CD Lamb. And Dak got it done with dinking and dunking across the field with multiple tight ends. And I respect that of him. I respect that of Mike McCarthy. I just don't know if, that's when Justin Fields can only give you 20 points. That's not happening with the Ben Johnson's offense against this Dallas Cowboys defense that can't stop any running backs on the entire season. Najee Harris is tripping over himself. You're not doing anything to stop him. David Montgomery's having a fucking field day. Yeah. And Frank Ragnall's back? Come on. Off a bye week? Come on.
Yeah.
Penei Sewell? Oh, come on.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not worried about this game at all. I'm worried about, like you said, that hamstring, because there's like hamstring, Achilles, back. Those are ones that you can never fully quite gauge when 100% is. And if you're not 100%, you're very susceptible to being hurt for a more serious injury. So I just want Kirby, as great as he's been one of the best safeties in the NFL. He's been vital to this team, especially early on, to help guys like Terrion Arnold who are growing into their roles. I think Kirby has been essential, but bringing Brian Branch back, and again the fact that I do see Dallas as an inferior opponent, even with knowing that they're gonna have the refs on their side because they always do.
Yeah, bullshit.
I'm not worried about this. I think this game might be a little closer than what it should be, just because of the boys in stripes. But ultimately, I think the Lions are gonna just destroy them. They can't stop that run game, like you said, at all. So I'm not really worried. That I'm just focused on, getting everybody healthy for the time when it's needed. But right now, you got to take advantage. Look, man, Minnesota is 5-0. Like you can't drop a game like this.
No.
Like I know Nick Microwave was hopping out the booth saying must win. But ultimately, you can't let the games like this slide because Minnesota's proven to be a foe. And if you want to win this division, you're gonna have to take care of the teams that you should beat.
This is a team we should beat.
Yeah.
There's nothing in my mind. Fuck them. The high octane, the bullshit from last year. I mean, maybe if there's anything you could say, maybe a little overly emotionally charged from that game, but I don't believe that to be the case because we bounced back right away, went about our biz because understood that was just a bump in the road. It didn't completely throw you off. It wasn't going to throw you off. We were bigger and better than that moment, and we proved to be that. I don't even think, to be honest with you, that they're looking at this game as like a revenge game from last year. I think they're just looking at it as what it is. There may be a few guys there, but if you're a coach, Nate Campbell, I don't want you to get emotional about this one. I want you to pay attention to the X's and O's that helped make this team great. Fuck last year. We're like I just said previously, we're bigger than that.
Let me counter that with one point because I agree that you can get lost in your own hubris and you can get like really just focused on something that you shouldn't be focused on. But my question to you, Easy, is when have you seen an emotional Lions team be a bad thing in terms of results? Because I can't recall one where, like, the games that they've been fired up, they dominated.
I just don't think
games.
they operate that way. I can't name you an emotional game from
the Carolina game last year.
No.
Didn't they play Carolina last year? And
it did, but it wasn't like an emotional game. I think it was just a game for like Carolina. That game was an anomaly.
You don't think there was
that was one of those?
Pop? They're a really bad team too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know, but like, okay,
that's what I said. Like when they beat us was an absolute anomaly. I'll tell you what. There's a emotionally charged game, and it was the Seattle game.
Yeah.
I think you look at that one a little bit emotionally charged. I think Dan Campbell was a little emotionally charged,
the Rams,
but
maybe?
in a different way, not where you're pissed off or upset, just more so on that mission. You know what I'm saying? Because those games, as much as we lost them, outside of that very first year with Dan Campbell and Pete Carroll running up on us, got like 50 points, I think it was. They're pretty close. Like the game in 22 was close. Obviously, last year's game was close, and ultimately they came down. And I hate to know the Jared Goff fans hate to hear it, but the pick sixes were the difference in those games. Dan Campbell said so, is goddamn so. I think that's why it's more mission than emotionally charged. This one, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I think it could get there emotionally charged because you got fucked. You outplayed the team. You were about to say something though, too, Chase. I apologize.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that the Lions are in that group of teams in the NFL like where the Chiefs are. Obviously, they're the reigning champions, but there's only a handful of teams that truly each year have a chance to win based on coaching, roster construction, and health. And as long as we're healthy, I think it doesn't matter what seed we have in the playoffs. We have the team that can just smash it down your throat, punch you in the face every possession, and go and win a Super Bowl. I really am not getting too high or low on any of these regular season games. To me, it's just about making sure guys are staying healthy and we're getting into the playoffs. I want to win the division. I'd love the 1 seed so we get the home playoff games, but it's not, this season is not make or break on that. It's just stay healthy, get in the playoffs, and then that's when business starts.
Actually, real quick, too, it's a phenomenal point from a guy at Emeralds that actually been rocking with your boys since I was in the basement. Shout out to him or her. But he brought up the Seattle Seahawks game last year as an emotionally charged game.
I think last year was more emotionally charged than this year.
Absolutely. And then guess what happened? You lost.
Yeah. I think they played a little bit more even keeled this year, and we saw like they pretty much dominated that game.
Yeah.
That answers my question. Then.
Yeah, I don't want emotionally charged. I want in there to clean up business. And like Chase said, like I said, the Detroit Lions are bigger than that moment because they're just bigger business to attend to.
I've always just seen them as a team, or Dan Campbell specifically as a leader, being able to control the fire in a very good and productive way. So that was a great point to bring up that game. I wasn't thinking of that one.
Shout out Emeralds.
Yeah, shout out Emerald Eye.
Cartier says, nah, we got to play winning football. We aren't just trying to make the playoffs this season. I mean, it's one step at a time. And speaking to you know that chaos, I think Dan Campbell's used that term too. It's controlled chaos.
Yeah.
That's grit, chaos just seems to be working here in Detroit lately, huh?
I
Crazy.
mean, ask Tom Brady if he would have rather lost the game in the regular season in 2007 or the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had to have one loss on that season, he's
Mm-hmm.
taking it in the regular season, not the Super Bowl. I mean, it's really what your regular season record is doesn't matter as long as you get in. You got
Correct.
your ticket to the dance. Doesn't matter if you buy 100 raffle tickets or just one.
Yeah. Speaking of getting to your goal one step at a time, when we get back, I want to talk about these gritty Tigs and how they can get it done tonight, how they've been getting it done. But before then, Chris, what bill we got, Bay?
Let me tell you about the place you should go if you want some Detroit swag. Support the Tigers in their playoff push. Get Boo Them Kids, Stoke Not Scared, a whole bunch of custom Detroit swag right at woodwardsports.com by clicking the shop tab today. You will get all the freshest gear Detroit sports has to offer. Go nowhere else but woodwardsports.com. Click that shop tab today. Get yourself some brand new merch.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
To prove that you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness, we're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test, that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today.
Wow, why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Guys, if you'd like to give back to your community and don't know how, it's easy. Visit the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign. Visit registertoring.com to sign up for shifts. You'll have an option to choose a 2-hour session at a physical Red Kettle site or participate in a virtual bell ringing shift to raise funds from the comfort of your own home. Virtual bell ringing can sign up and begin raising funds at any time. However, traditional bell ringing begins Friday, November 7th and runs through Christmas Eve, excluding Thanksgiving and Sundays. To sign up once more, guys, it's registertoring.com. All right. This is actually kind of a little bit of a perfect segue for us. 'Cause I know we talked about the Detroit Lions kind of taking this thing game by game and getting to your ultimate destination. And I finally think I've decoded a little bit of what the Detroit Tigers are doing. And we talked about it previously before, like bits and pieces of it, but it's easy to throw out their magic.
It's easy, baby.
It's easy to throw out their teams of destiny.
You think you'd cracked the Da Vinci Code?
I think I've cracked the Hinch code. The Hinchy code, yeah. I like that.
Thanks.
Did you mean that?
Yeah, like
nice.
right off the top. Bro.
Nice. That's a good as a bar.
That was a bar.
I think I've cracked it. And it's, again, we talked about it before, but just I think instead of trying to win a game or a series, the game in itself is just a war. And I'm in school, history, English, that was my stuff. I love history class. It's story time. It's so easy. And you look at wars, they're won through battles. And I think A.J. Hinch, both on the mound and at bat, every single one of those things is a battle. And he strategizes towards that. Not the game as a whole, but a battle. A battle at bat every single time. You are working the shit out of that pitcher. That is his end game goal. You're also putting that pitcher, you're looking likely to put him up against a guy, a lefty on a righty. A righty and a lefty, vice versa, whatever you may work. Yes, and that's why it's switching so often. They're little tiny battles in increments to win what ultimately is the war, and that's the game. I mean, even the series are built that way too. Each game is a battle. The series victory is your war. But A.J. Hinch, it's gone to that for him, and it makes sense too. When you're dealing with these guys that aren't superstars in your club, I think you have guys that could be there. I think Parker Meadows. Am I tripping it? Has he got superstar potential starting to look like? Riley Green, I know a little bit slow in the postseason than people like to see, but I think he's got that there too. You have to coach this way. You have to call the game this way. And it's crazy for me too, because I never viewed baseball as that. I viewed it as such like an individual sport And there is team defense. I'll give credit to that. But, like, and I was wrong, by the way. Watching A.J. Hinch, he's putting on a fucking, I don't even know. Syllabus? He's writing the syllabus on it. I don't know what expression I'm looking for there. But I'm watching him manage masterfully. And I know Chris Fetter gets a lot of credit, and he should. But it's still A.J. Hinch pulling the strings and putting these guys out there in those situations, and he's winning every single time. So I saw a couple questions in the chat. Hey, how do you feel about Reese Olson starting tonight? Although he got rocked in that, game one. I'm fine with it because I know there's intention behind it. I know there's a strategic reason why he's in that game. And by the way, too, he went in a high-leverage situation. It wasn't ideal. Him starting tonight, a little different. As we said earlier, he might not even finish off that inning or even be there for the second. You were about to say something, Chris. I apologize.
We are going to look back on this. 2024, General Hinch, the Battle of the Tank. Like, we're going to look at what he did in this Cleveland series as something that will be a catapult for moving forward. Like, you nailed it, man. I really buy into that theory. I think there's a lot to it because, that's what you have to do when you aren't the most talented team, when you don't have that Yankees payroll. Like, you have to operate on the margins, win everything in the margins. This team is by nature death of 1,000 cuts. They are not the team that's going to come out swinging and knock your head off in the first inning, like Cleveland did to us game one. Like that's not how this team usually wins. How this team usually wins is, like you said, just working you, winning this inning here, winning this battle, pitcher versus batter here. They really need this one, so let me get my pitcher that's going to be advantageous for me and win this battle, because if this guy gets on base, this sets up dominoes that will affect us later on and get them points on the board. Like, he's looking at it that way. That's how you have to look at these as individual battles that lead to, like you said, the overall war, which is the playoffs. And I love it, man, because how many times do we compare sports to war? How many times do we hear people reference sports to battlefields? I think you nailed it, man. I think you nailed it, man, and you coined the phrase with the Da Vinci Code. I like this. We cooked something up here.
That's Chase. Chase got the Da Vinci Code on his belt. It's a bar by him. And yes, Reese Olson is starting tonight for the people asking in the Woodward Sports chat.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't really have anything else to add right now.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. You already contributed. You got the name.
You did get the name. You contributed probably the best part of it, the Da Vinci Code. Guys in the back, listen, this just may be the clip. We figured out the Da Vinci Code. I saw a couple comments in the Woodward Sports chat. I think it was Mike K who said it. Is this a act of desperation already putting BB out there? I kind of agree.
I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. Like, I've heard Sam talk about it enough, Flannel Sam from Wake Up Woodward and Big D Energy, that the former Indians, now Guardians, had the fewest quality starts among their starting pitchers on the season in the American League. So they have to rely on their bullpen, and every time they hand the ball off, I mean, like the guys that they were relying on, Herron and Clase gave up the 3-run homer, and Herron's been effective a little bit, but he's also gone out there and pitching a lot. He's having trouble locating the zone. He might be able to get out of the jams, and we're not able to necessarily add the insurance runs, but it doesn't seem like the Cleveland pitching staff is as sharp as they have been in the regular season, and Stephen Vogt looks lost out there trying to manage against A.J. Hinch. He looks like he's still behind the dish trying to catch games, like, because he's a former player.
Well, dude, you look at the pitching changed up in last game where he probably catered his lineup to our starting pitcher, and then second inning, Kiter's gone.
Yeah. No,
you know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, wait a minute. I was expecting this guy to be here. I tailored my lineup for this. Gone.
Our boy Brady in the back was going on about how, like, just like the masterclass of just incepting Stephen Vogt's mind by getting them to take a starter out of their batting order before he even had a chance to step up to the plate. I do not know nearly as much about baseball as those guys who've played the game before, but I mean, listening to them break it down, it sounds like a maestro just conducting just a beautiful symphony.
Yeah, you start your game with a righty, you tailor his lineup for that, and it's the Da Vinci Code, and it's working. I guess the last question to ask, guys, because we do have to set up for the watch party that we will be doing. It doesn't work tonight.
Yeah. I said earlier on Wake Up Woodward, I'm never going to pick my team to lose. Tigers are winning tonight, for sure.
Okay. Chris?
They are absolutely winning this. We saw Cleveland morally defeated. We see how strong this Tigers team is. We know what that atmosphere is going to be like, and it's not going to be the worst remaining playoff baseball atmosphere like a certain Bleacher Report person said. But this is going to be a game that Detroit is going to remember, because this is going to punch our ticket to this series.
I saw a couple comments in there saying the Tigers didn't do well against BB the first time. They actually did do pretty well against BB the first time. I know they rocked them for 4 hits, and it was a fairly even game. It's just that we got cracked in that first inning.
Look, Tyler Holton didn't look good game 1.
No.
Gave up a lot of runs early. Tanner Beebe, he looked okay. Didn't give up any runs game 1. And look what Tyler Holton did last night. So, or, like yesterday afternoon, however you want to classify it, depending on what time you watch the game. But, so, I mean, just like Neil says all the time, like yesterday's prices aren't today's prices. Like yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery. And today the Tigers are going to the ALCS.
That's your present. Yeah. Your present, Gritty Tigs. To the ALCS.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. Shout out
I tell you what, are we cashing it into that? I hope they cash it in tonight, because I want school ready for game 1.
Yeah, that's what I want to.
Yeah.
Spenny, Nick, they're going to be at the game tonight.
Maz.
Very hype. Yeah, Maz as well.
Everybody's at the game tonight.
Very hype atmosphere. Do you guys remember like your first Tigers game?
I do, actually.
Well, who'd they play? Like, when was it?
Don't even remember who they played. I was really young, but my mom had a friend now. They had 2 kids. Their dad's name was Kevin. It was Dylan and Dayton. And it was over at Old Tiger Stadium. And there was some nosebleeds. I remember being fucking scared as shit because I was looking down. They got the parking lot and shit like that. But I was going to go to the 2014. I think they got rained out. Was that when they got rained out for the World Series?
They played in the 2012 World Series.
2012. Yeah, 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been the year then. Yeah, 2012 when they got rained out. I was supposed to go to that game, but unfortunately that happened. Shot to Uncle Fred. Hopefully get some tickets for this the ALCS or maybe even the World Series. We'll see. Yeah.
Chris, you remember your first Tigers game?
I do actually. I believe it was. I'm almost positive it was against the Marlins, and the Tigers won 5-2. I don't even remember what year it was, but I want to say it was. If I had to guess, probably like 2014. Probably like 2014, something like that. So they were not quite at their peak, but they were still,
still pretty good.
Yeah, they were still pretty good, and they were a team that everybody was looking at as like they should be. They should be up in that contending atmosphere. So I believe Scherzer was on the mound, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, nice. That's sick.
That's dope.
Yeah, so that was a good game. But boys, we gotta set up for the watch party.
Yeah.
We gotta get this going, man. Tigers watch party.
Score prediction.
Score prediction?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 2-0. This team doesn't.
I fucking hope they go scoreless again because of that asshole Barstool take.
29. You're calling for 29 scoreless innings?
29 scoreless innings.
I am, because you know what? I see a team that's morally broken and defeated, and this Tigers team, they don't overkill people like that. Like, if they only need two runs to win a game, they'll get 2 runs. If they need 5 runs, then they'll get 5 runs. But they're not that team that wins 8-1 dominating fashion. No, they squeak out a little 2-1 or 3-1, something like that.
2-7 is the score you're looking for.
2-7?
2-7.
You think they're raining?
Tigers.
You think the bats are okay?
It's gonna slow build those increments like we talked about early. Like kind of how that game went last time. So they kind of spread it out there. 1 here, 2 here, maybe even 1 each inning. I don't give a shit. 7 for the Tigers, 2 for the Guardians. Score prediction.
I'm going to say 5-3.
Like
Tigers obviously taking it, but 5-3. I think Riley Green's going to get his first postseason home run.
Finally, got some last night. Keith got some last night. Like some of our bats, although just 1 hit, waking up a little bit. Meadow's been getting contact the entire series. Yeah, I think our bats come alive a little bit tonight. I really do. Give me 5 to 7 runs for the Tigers. in an ALCS burst so we can see Scooble on the mound. Even if I don't truly believe in my heart, I'm speaking to existence. We are the heavyweights. We'll see you back for the watch party starting right back here on this channel in about 15 minutes or so.
Peace.